going to go to our second testimonial and awardee, and the award is for budding entrepreneur. And the testimonial comes from Molly Keenan. Molly, why? Tell us your place in this picture and why your support of American Vinegar Works.
Sure, thanks, Robin. I'm Molly. I work in operations at American Vinegar Works, but long before I was a colleague of Rodrigo's, we were very good friends from college. So I've been fortunate to see American Vinegar Works in its very, very early days. So back when American Vinegar Works was really just a pile of test tubes and glass bottles and all the paraphernalia on Rodrigo's kitchen table. And he worked in Cambridge, really just experimenting DIY process to develop the best way to make high quality vinegar. And it was just this series of experiments that really led to his passion to develop a process for making vinegar, that he custom made machinery, working with some academic institutions that modernized and recreated a process from the 1800s. And so it was really exciting to see this, this true passion and excitement about experimenting and developing a process and grow into a full-scale production. And so now we have a full-scale vinegar works in Worcester, Mass. And so this commitment and passion really has grown, and it's exciting to see it recognized by the Sustainable Business Network.
Well, some would think, Molly, that you have kind of an in here, but the truth is I was looking at some reviews at your website, rave reviews, America's Test Kitchen, the New York Times, Epicurious, the most surprising and delightful vinegars I have ever tried. So let's bring in our winner for the budding entrepreneur, and you mentioned him as well, founder and CEO Rodrigo Vargas. Rodrigo, congratulations. And why didn't you send me that bottle of champagne to have while we talk?
Well, I need to test it first, and if it's bad, it's going to vinegar.
If it's like too vinegary. What do you think? Can you try? You know, this is obviously we're speaking. We can't taste.
Yeah.
Why is your vinegar? How does it taste different?
Yeah. The why and the how are really sort of connected. One is the ingredients they use to make vinegar, and was actually one of the pushes that got me to create American Vinegar Works, which is the alcohol that you use directly impacts the quality of the vinegar. For folks who don't know, vinegar comes from alcohol. You ferment alcohol, so a wine, a cider, a beer. You ferment that over and it becomes vinegar, acetic acid. And if you use very good beer or very good wine, and you do it in a way that's slow and respects the fermentation process, then you end up with really good vinegars. And the problem has been with modern vinegars that we've gone from this slow fermentation focus on quality to the creation of what really come across as acid bombs for most supermarket kind of vinegars. So what makes my vinegars different are the flavor profiles that exist beyond acid, and that are really kind of get that layered approach that you're referencing in some of those reviews.
Well, we understand some of your techniques go back to the 1800s, but you mentioned, I mean, the vinegar, the salad dressing aisle has grown, you know, in Star Market. So it's the full length of an aisle.
Yes.
What made you think, I mean, just about everyone here knows how hard it is to be an entrepreneur. What made you think, I know, I'll add another vinegar to the choices people have?
Yeah. So actually, vinegar is sort of a little bit of a dusty category. So the categories around it, the olive oils have been growing, salad dressings, prepared things have been growing. But the idea of a premium but accessible American vinegar, so I only use craft American alcohol so that the vinegars have a sense of place associated with our craft alcohol movement in the US. That idea actually didn't exist. There were very few vinegars that would be wildly or even halfway accessible to people that were made from craft American alcohols. So it actually, when I looked at the shelf, I actually saw what could be, and I think is, a real gap. Because if you think about our wines, if you think about our beers, we know exactly where they've come from. And the same thing for chocolates and coffees and all these other products that we've grown to really recognize what a quality coffee is like versus a coffee of lesser quality. On the vinegar aisle, consumers are only really now discovering that. And it's really gratifying. I love Molly's husband said, he saw me at a farmer's market and he said, I think Rodrigo is in his element. This is what fulfillment looks like. And it really is, because it's incredibly gratifying to be able to take somebody through a vinegar tasting at a farmer's market, which, by the way, the first reaction of, do you want to taste some vinegar? It is not as enthusiastic as, do you want to taste some chocolate? But then taking them through that progression and really seeing how they recognize and be able to, even on the first taste, notice what a good vinegar is, how different it is from some of the other products that they're using, and how versatile and healthy it can be. It's incredibly gratifying. When you get a really nice review, like in the Times or someplace else, it's the nice push that you want as an entrepreneur doing something very small.
I can't believe how in-depth these reviews are. It's as if it is a wine. And Rachel Wenzek, who's with us tonight, is writing, I didn't know there was so much to vinegar. But as you're getting the budding entrepreneur honor. When did you want to quit, and why? And why didn't you?
I wonder if I wanted to quit from the first. It was less quit and more, every once in a while you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, wait, why are you doing this again? So my path was a traditional business, corporate sort of background. And going from that to fermenting, lugging, when you're starting out as a small company and you want to do something that's so different than what's done out there, you have to do it all yourself. And I have to admit, there were times when you're lugging boxes of vinegar back and forth that you question, you're like, why am I on this path? And I think it is, as I say, incredibly reassuring and motivating when you get the reaction from consumers, chefs, everyone else, but truly consumers, like in the flesh, when they're really tasting it. It really pushes you forward in a really positive way. And we're now, as you mentioned, we're budding entrepreneur category. We just last year spent the year renovating a historic mill building in Worcester, which is really important for me, and it's important, I think, for our brand, like that sense to New England manufacturing. And it feels like, and I hope 2022 is the year where we'll actually have enough vinegar to sell. Yeah.
Well, from your lips, but also I'm thinking it's really good for Worcester that you're renovating a mill there. Those beautiful old mills. It's great for the local economy as well. Just briefly in the minute or so we have, how did you sustain as an entrepreneur? Whatever you want to share about your financing, was it loans? Was it investors?
Yeah, so in the beginning, it was totally bootstrapped. And in the previous year, I've actually done an angel round, friends, family, to help towards the manufacturing. And the reason is, unlike other food products where you can use different facilities or outsource, what we're doing is so unique that you actually have to have a decent amount of capital investment to recreate these machines. So we partnered with Boston University and UMaine, and literally took the sketches from the 1800s to completely rebuild modern versions of this unique production method. And that does take some capital. So we're able to do that through the support of friends, family, and professional network to really get the new Vinegar Works up and running.
This is fascinating. It's fascinating. Our attendees, Myrna Greenfield writes, I love that you use craft alcohol products. There's Rachel again saying, hey, there's an American Vinegar Works gift set as an auction item. Don't forget this is an option.
I love the plug.
Yeah, Kim Mitchell writes, excited to taste your vinegar, and she's up next. So Rodrigo Vargas, American Vinegar Works, thank you so much, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much, Robin. I appreciate it.